People make mistakes. Students make many. But then again, so do graders. Left to our own whims and worst impulses, we mark based on previous experience, on our impressions of our students, on our mood at the time, and this means that our grading might not only be inconsistent between graders, but from the same grader on one class to the next, and from one day to the next. There's no perfect solution, but a good marking rubric helps curb the worst subjectivity and provides some transparency and reliability in our marking. Rubrics tell students which learning objectives and criteria they'll be assessed on, how their grades will be calculated within a particular assignment, and what the assignment parameters actually are. There are two main types of rubric. The holistic rubric doesn't give points, but has a pass-fail criteria and gives a lot of feedback. The marking rubric used for UTQ Assess is a holistic rubric. An analytical rubric, on the other hand, does provide points. This is more commonly used for projects, reports, essays, and when using this type of rubric, first clearly define what it means to get a 10 or 100%. What is the highest level that's achievable in your course? What can a really good student realistically achieve at their level in this time frame? This should be a 10, and it should align to your learning objectives. So if you expect students to construct a model, make sure that 100% is given for what an excellent student is actually able to do in your class, rather than set 10 at what a professional with 30 years experience can achieve. The same is true for the minimal pass level. What's expected of students at an MSc level should be higher than what's expected at BSc first year. But most importantly, formulate criteria that are clear and as concise as possible. Vague and subjective language defeats the purpose. So instead of saying a good introduction as a criteria, which doesn't really add anything, instead use a good introduction gives an overview into the topic of the student's choice, an explanation of how this topic relates to the field. Introductions of the field and the topic should be based on relevant literature and contain references to that literature. This gives you 4 clear points to mark something on that expands beyond good. Develop a marking rubric that's then based on a consistency check table, which examines the alignment between your learning objectives, assignment, and grading criteria, and include an assignment description and instructions for graders with each rubric. Rubrics aren't only valuable when grading. They're useful at a range of times. First, they can help the students actually prepare for the assignment. Second, if students need to draft, then the rubric can be used to check work in progress, such as through peer reviews. Third, rubrics are mostly used to increase your transparency and reduce your marking time by helping you give feedback and grades efficiently when it comes to doing that final grading. And lastly, when explaining the marks and feedback, rubric can help you explain the reasons for a mark that was given. Given all of this, can you think of a reason not to use a rubric? Leave it in the comments below, along with any ideas you have for making good rubrics. Thank you again.